The wind howled through the dense forest, carrying with it an eerie whisper that seemed almost alive. Emily's footsteps echoed on the old wooden bridge, her breath visible in the cold, misty air. She had heard the stories. Who hadn't? But standing here, on the edge of the dark woods that locals called Whispering Pines, she felt an unsettling chill. It was said that the woods were cursed, that those who ventured too far would hear voices, voices that weren't their own. But Emily wasn't one to believe in ghost stories. She was here to find out what really happened to her brother, who had disappeared on this very path a year ago. As she stepped off the bridge and into the shadows of the trees, the whispers began, soft at first, barely audible, a murmur on the wind. But with each step they grew louder, clearer. They called her name, her brother's name, blending into a chorus of voices. Her heart raced. But she pressed on, clutching the flashlight in her hand as if it were a lifeline. The path twisted and turned, and soon Emily realized she was no longer on the trail. The trees seemed to close in around her, their gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal hands. The whispers grew more insistent, more urgent, and now they weren't just calling, they were pleading. "Help us, please, find us!" Suddenly the beam of her flashlight caught something ahead, a clearing. In the center stood an old, dilapidated cabin, its windows dark and lifeless. The door creaked open as if beckoning her inside. Emily hesitated, every instinct screaming at her to turn back. But the whispers pushed her forward. This was it. This was where her brother had last been seen. She stepped inside, and the door slammed shut behind her, plunging the cabin into darkness. The flashlight flickered, then died. Emily was left in the pitch black, with only the whispers to guide her. But now they weren't just in the air, they were in her head, filling her mind with a cacophony of voices. She stumbled forward, her hands outstretched, feeling her way through the dark. Her fingers brushed against something cold and wet, walls covered in some sticky substance. The whispers grew louder, more frenzied, until they reached a deafening crescendo, and then silence. A faint glow appeared at the far end of the cabin, illuminating a figure. A tall, thin man with hollow eyes and a twisted smile. Emily's breath caught in her throat. It was her brother. But something was wrong. His eyes were vacant, his movements jerky and unnatural. He stepped toward her, and as he did, the whispers returned, louder and more frantic than ever. "Leave! Leave! Leave!" they warned. But it was too late. Emily was frozen in place, unable to move as her brother's cold hand reached out to her. The last thing she heard, before the darkness consumed her, was the sound of her own name, whispered by 100 voices, echoing in the